pressing on the buttons for. I'll press the button. You do the talking.
Alexis is talking about pressing buttons. We're here for episode 160, where we've got so much news. We've got guest Ian Alfire, and we've got Rohan from Rohan's Corner. We'll have Alexis, who'll be doing a lot of the leading tonight. And pressing the buttons. Here we are. Start that intro.
Oh, me.
Please,
Yeah, sorry.
When you're ready, there's only people just waiting in the chat. It's cool. No, don't. Please take longer.
That one. There
Alexis is always prepared.
Have your attention, please. The captain of your ship! I'm sorry. When you found this away! You left me broken hearted! But I never loved you anyway! No, I never loved you anyway! No, I never loved you anyway. No, I never loved you
anyway. And before we start the news and we let Alexis take us over, we're just going to go straight into a wonderful interview with Simon Furman, who's going to TFUKcon on is it the 13th of May, 2023.
Yes,
so
Strap Halland
here we
Hotel,
go with
Birmingham.
this interview, all recorded. And welcome to Transformers the show. We've got a very special guest today. We've got Simon Furman, the marvelous writer and creative writer behind a lot of the Transformers stories from G1, Marvel UK, and Marvel US, and of course IDW and other franchises as well, from like Doctor Who to the X-Men. I think in television, cartoons, and other stories. A whole plethora of amazing stories out there. You've got your hosts, myself, Jamie, Andy, and Alexis. Simon, I'm just going to start off with the sort of first question. And how did TFUKcon, that is the convention, go last year? What were your highlights?
Yeah, it was a really fun convention. You know, sometimes you never know with the smaller one-day ones. You know, you've got to pack up all your stuff, move across the country, and give up your weekends sometimes. But it was a really fun little convention. Nice amount of people, so it felt less like a convention and more like a kind of social event. And it was just genuinely pleasant. Both Jeff and I really enjoyed it. It didn't have some of the pressures, I guess, from you're chained to your desk all day. We just wandered off at one point and had lunch, and it was just very relaxed, and it was great just to sort of chat with everyone. The meal was fun in the evening, so yeah, it was a really, really good little sort of convention, and I'm looking forward considerably to this year's and being there with Andrew Wildman.
Fantastic, thank you. The questions are going to get harder now, Simon. Andy.
Are you going to play that question every time we have are you going to play the intro every time we do a question now?
Only once.
No, that's it now. It's done. We took some questions. I hope you don't mind, Simon, but we asked some of the people who follow us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram for their questions for you as well. So one question that came up from a friend of ours called Drew was, if there are Transformers fans who obviously know you through Transformers, who maybe don't know some of your other work, what would you say would be a good point for them to jump on and see the kind of work that you have done?
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole slew of stuff I did for Marvel back in the 90s and noughties. I did a long run on Alpha Flight from something like issue 110 through to 130, and a whole bunch of what ifs, and so there's a body of work. I did some She-Hulk stuff. there's a body of Marvel work, you know, Annihilation, Ronan, and a few others. But you know, really, I mean, the body of my work, the main body of work is Transformers. But then, you know, on top of that, there's some work on the Doctor Who comic strip. I did one of the Big Finish audios. You know, I've worked on all sorts of other licensed titles and non-licensed titles, and you know, I'm currently working for with Rebellion on their Monster Fun comics. So Leopard from Lime Street is my strip in that, and that's fun for me because that was the strip I enjoyed and read, you know, as a teenager. So that's kind of fun, and it's also fun because it was always seen like the British Spider-Man. So we're having great fun, you know, sort of dropping some proper villains into the strip. So, you know, I mean, there's almost too much to encapsulate into a quick chat. But, you know, I mean, in TV animation, I've worked on Beast Wars, Roswell Conspiracies, Alien Myths and Legends, Dan Dare, X-Men Evolution, Mad Hatter Chronicles. So there's a whole swathe of that as well. And I write currently for Earth Wars, Transformers Earth Wars, the game. And, you know, I'm doing a bunch of other games work at the moment. So, yeah, you know, it's hard to kind of say, go here. You know, I've worked on a lot of different things. You know, I've worked on RoboCop. I've worked on Terminator comics, you know, so there's a great swathe of other stuff that's non-Transformers.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you.
Alexis Knight.
Fantastic. Dan Dare stood out there because my dad used to tell me bedtime stories with Dan Dare, and Darth Vader was always the bad guy in those bedtime stories. So Dan Dare's got a small place in my heart there. Following on from that, we've got a question from Bisto Yeti, another YouTuber. He asks, I guess, you know, off the back of that, can you drop us anything specific about the Astrobot comic which is coming out, or have you got anything you want to share on that at all?
Yeah, you know, Astrobots is it's based on a toy line, a very, you know, high end, quite intricate toy line developed by a guy called Aaron Thomas, and they just contacted me and said, would you help us flesh out the world, the backstory, the whole sort of universe that they wanted to set up. I mean, obviously they had ideas coming in that I just said, well, that's great, we could do this and that, and you know, it's real sort of it's almost, I mean, even though they are mechs, robots, it's very much got a more sort of sci-fi sweep, I suppose, than Transformers. You know, it's less focus on action adventure and more on political intrigue and, you know, the world that's set up. I mean, the gist of it is that in the future, Earth is pretty much tapped out, and they send out missions into space to find colony worlds. And what they send first are these initially non-sentient robots that, you know, are there to find new worlds, to set up cities on those worlds. And then through a few things I won't share at the moment, everything gets changed, and the Astrobots themselves become the dominant life form on these colony worlds. And suddenly it's a question of how welcome are these human colonists going to be when they finally arrive. So, you know, there's a lot of, you know, there's a whole political structure, and then there's a sort of disaster that's happened somewhere else that feeds into this. You know, it's quite multi-layered, and it started off originally we were just going to do a series of 10-page stories, but very quickly that turned into a 5-issue limited series. So there's one limited series coming out which is 5 issues, and that's the first 100 pages of Astrobots. But we're already talking about arcs 2 and 3 of that, so there's a real momentum behind it. And yeah, the first issue comes out in March, I believe. You know, you can still order the first issue from your local comic store up to February 20th, and I think the first issue hits towards the end of March.
Awesome. We'll put that link in Twitter. So this is a TFUKcon specific question again, and it's just talking generally about all these conventions. What are your favorite part about all the different conventions you do?
Sorry, I slightly missed that. You broke up a little on my screen.
Sorry. When you think about all the different conventions you go to, the short ones, the small ones, the longer ones, what's the core favorite part of those conventions?
Well, I mean, I think it's definitely the social side of it, the meeting people. You know, we operate sometimes in semi or complete isolation, and we never really get that sort of feedback from people. You know, I sit here and write, I send it off to an editor or a story editor or a production editor, and you know, you work in a little bubble most of the time. I mean, sure, there's kind of internet feedback, but it doesn't beat actually kind of meeting people and talking to them about the comics and what they're enjoying, what they're not. And you know, it just you know, we do sit in our little caves sometimes, us comic creators. So the best bit for me is just to get out, meet, chat to people, and you know, just get that buzz of being around people who, well, hopefully are enjoying what you're doing.
Oh, we do. Andy.
Yeah, sorry. I'm gonna take the question back to a little bit of Transformers. So in the G1 Transformers UK comics, and obviously when you did the work with the US version as well, you always had a great way of taking what seemed like fairly minor characters or toys that didn't really necessarily get a lot of attention and turning them into really memorable characters through the comic book. I'm thinking of characters like Bludgeon, which obviously has become a massive fan favorite. Thunderwing is another one that jumps to mind, if only because I love Decepticons. What was it about those particular toys or those particular characters that made you choose them?
Well, often we had to, in the first instance, when we were writing the UK stories, we had to look for characters, if we could, that Bob Budiansky wasn't using over in the American stories, because obviously we had a freer reign with those characters. So something like Broadside, Sandstorm, Springer, they weren't really used by Bob in any big way. So we could form them into a team and call them the Wreckers in enough confidence that Bob, a future story of Bob's, wasn't going to kind of pull the rug out from under us. So, you know, it was great to find some of these characters that he hadn't been able to squeeze in, you know, and I always felt for Bob because he had to continually bring the next toy line in and the next, and then just kind of more or less discard the last characters. So we often took, you know, the characters he discarded, you know, to a certain extent, like the Dinobots, they disappeared out of the US storyline and we had a freer reign to work with them. And so, yeah, we were always looking for somewhat the fringe characters who weren't maybe the front and center G1 characters. And, you know, then later when, you know, I came to be working on it, what I found by them was it was more satisfying because Bob did such a comprehensive job of creating the personalities, the weaknesses, the strengths. Some of the later characters, they weren't covered in the same detail. So we could put those layers on ourselves. So someone like Bludgeon, there wasn't much other than his toy tech specs, and we could really start to go, well, look, hey, there's this weird Cybertronian martial arts, so let's run with that a little bit and make him a little more, I suppose, sort of metaphysical as a character. So, you know, it was always looking for where's the wriggle room for us to layer on to what's already there. So those obscura characters were blank templates for us to a certain extent.
I suppose the popularity of them shows that the popularity of them shows that you obviously did a really good job there. Sorry, go on, Alexis. Oh, sorry, go on, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, yes, you know, I mean, that's in a way, because we had a freer reign, you get more invested in those characters. You know, someone else isn't going to come in and take all that away. So you can actually propel them through story arcs and different things that you possibly couldn't with, again, some of the more front and center characters.
Fantastic. So just to continue the flow on that, really, my question, my personal question is, which other Transformers stories did you love, look up to, and why?
Well, I mean, we were always very aware of what the Marvel America were doing, and we had to be. We were lacing our stories into those, so we really wanted to kind of make it seem to the readers of the UK comic that it was all one through storyline, not American and English stories meshing. So we were always trying to keep within the vein of what Bob was doing over on the US comic. So we kept watch, but Bob did some great stories in there. His return to Cybertron was the spur to many of my stories with Straxus and other characters. So they were very important, and Underbase became part of Regeneration 1. So we were always looking at what Bob was doing with a view to, well, can we expand on that? How does that fit with what we're doing? Can we, entwine the two storylines even tighter? And, just generally then, I think the bit of storytelling that impressed me most was the Beast Wars animated TV series, once I was aware of that, because there just seemed to be real drive and just sort of proper sci-fi storytelling behind it, humor, and then they've started to take it and immerse it back into G1, and I found that very sort of inspiring as well, just watching what Bob and Larry and the other writers were doing over on Beast Wars.
Thank you, Simon. I've got another question here. What are you looking forward to this year? And what one piece of advice would you give to someone attending a convention for the first time?
Well, taking the first one, this year, I mean, I'm looking forward to, getting back out on the road, which, sort of it goes into a kind of winter lull, really. So, I'm off on the road. I'm at London Comic-Con at the beginning of March. I'm going to be at a couple of other unannounced conventions yet, and then of course TFUKcon, and it's definitely, that's what I'm looking forward to most in some ways, is just getting back out, but also bringing with me some of the new things I'm doing, like Astrobots, which is very exciting. I'm also gearing up for another self-publishing venture. We had To the Death, which obviously we still have and still take to conventions with us. But I'm releasing a crime noir graphic novel with an artist called Martin Stiff, which is called 5 Points. Quite a change of pace for me, but I think you kind of know, if you've seen my Transformers writing, that I love detective fiction, crime fiction, and I've laced that into stories with Nightbeat and other characters. And so this was just a chance. Martin, he's only done a couple of things, but they're both quite sort of different to my usual fare. He's done a one graphic novel called Tiny Acts of Violence and another called The Absence. And I kind of felt I just had to, if I was going to work with him, I needed to do something more in the vein of those. And 5 Points, like I say, is quite a, it's a one-shot graphic novel, and hopefully we'll build to more of those. So I'm very excited. We're going to go the route of printing via Amazon, their print to order schemes. So we will be releasing, and it will be available worldwide, on a print to order basis. So again, it's a sort of new thing for us. We did To the Death slightly differently, but with this, we're looking to say, well, look, it's just available worldwide. You don't need to go to a comic store or order on, a comic website. It's just an Amazon product. And the great thing with print to order is, you literally order it one day, it's printed, and it comes the next day. So very excited about that. And just generally, like I say, getting out on the road, meeting people, and, in the second part of your question, I would say to people coming to a convention, come with stuff you want to get signed. Don't sort of forget. The number of people who turn up at my table at conventions and say, I really meant to bring my Death's Head collection with me or my Dragon's Claws, you know, bring them out, put them signed. You know, it's there we go. Yeah,
that's you.
You know, yeah. You know, I mean, I always at conventions have stuff with me. I normally bring a comic box or two and other stuff, but you know, definitely if you've got a kind of treasured comic that you want to get signed, bring it along with you. I'm always happy to do it.
Awesome, thank you, Andy.
My question, I'm going to ask a more of a personal question here, because you are still so involved, thankfully, in so much of the Transformers franchise and the writing for it. My favorite character and toy as a child was always Double Dealer, who featured in this kind of one-shot story that you wrote for the UK comic. Is there any chance, do you think, that you could sneak him into a future story where he doesn't get killed very rapidly? Because that tends to be the case with him in most of the media I've seen recently.
Yeah, we're using him in Earth Wars at the moment. He's one of the characters they've introduced into the game. So the little saga stories that run parallel to the game, he's one of the characters I kind of feature whenever I can, because he's a fun character who I never really dealt with much on the original comic, a bit like Punch Counterpunch, who I'd never used before, but was absolutely perfect for Transformers 84. So yeah, you know, definitely a chance that, you know, I'll use him in other media depending on what I'm doing on Transformers in the future.
I'll keep my fingers crossed.
And Alexis.
Fantastic. So my question is, it's a double. I'm going to tail these questions again because they're quite similar. So first part's my question, the second part's you and Cam's, really, from Facebook. Obviously you created Death's Head, which is an amazing character. So Ewan's question is, if there was a live action version or like animation of Death's Head, who would you get? Who would you like to voice act Death's Head, really? And then my question is, if you've got the chance to create a brand new Transformers character in modern writing, who have you got any ideas about who they would be and what their abilities would be?
Yeah, I mean, Death's Head, I've had this question before, and for some reason, and don't ask me why, and it's not a specific actor, I always thought he'd work well with a sort of roboticized Slavic accent, you know, sort of not quite Dolph Lundgren, but, you know, kind of like quite sort of measured, and he talks in quite a stilted way. So I thought, you know, he would probably be quite a slow, specific speaker. And for some reason, it always seemed to work better in my head if he had a slightly, you know, sort of Eastern European accent. But I don't really have a specific actor in mind. And I'm always looking, you know, I mean, with To the Death, we introduced a whole new cast and world of characters, and we did our own sort of bounty hunter killer called Killer Toa, who appears in that. And, you know, again, you know, I just love these sort of merciless killer types. They're always fun to write, but, you know, always hopefully with a slight twist to them. And, you know, I think in future media, I'd go back to that and just sort of bring in, you know, another character like that.
Very good. Yeah, so I'm thinking maybe like an Eastern European James L. Jones, like a Vader. Very good. Thank you.
Just my last question. You spent some time with Jeff Senior at the last convention, and he's like one of my favorite artists ever. Andy bought me a pint, so I absolutely love the guy. He's amazing. What is your favorite people you like to catch up with? You talked about being in a bubble and getting to see your fellow, you know, people you work with, the writers, the inkers, etc. What is your sort of favorite people, including people like Jeff Senior, you like to catch up with?
You know, Jeff, I'm always in touch with, really. You know, Jeff and I, whenever we can, we meet up in London or wherever for a drink and a catch up. And, you know, we're both going to be at London TFUKcon at the beginning of March. So we'll get to sort of catch up again there. But, you know, just generally, I always relish the chance to be at a convention when there's a broad range of people. And, we have monthly get-togethers with comic professionals or just people associated with the business. And so, yeah, any of the social sides I absolutely love, and that's the great thing with conventions. And this year at TFUKcon, I will get to be with Andrew, who I actually haven't seen apart from a very brief run-in at a convention last year. I've hardly had a chance to sort of sit down and have a chat to. So that's another big pull towards Birmingham in May.
Andy.
This was another one of the questions from Facebook. So Gav Morton, another big Transformers fan, he was asking, have you ever, I'm sure you've thought about this a lot, if you were a Transformer yourself, what would you want to transform into? What would you think would be your dream alt mode?
I think I'd probably opt for a jet or something very fast.
Fine choice.
I definitely think, something along the Seeker lines would be good for me.
I would as well. That's why I'm agreeing so much. It's always been about the jets for me.
Yeah.
Alexis. Alexis is so excited he's muted himself.
Sorry.
This is our last question.
So this is Drew from Facebook again. So I've altered his question slightly. Because Stanley always appears in his writing. So I remember seeing him in the Amazing Spider-Man. He appeared in the last episode of that Marvel version. Obviously, he appeared in a lot of the live action movies as well. So the dual question is: would you ever like to appear in a comic version of yourself, or in a live action movie, or if there was a movie of your life, who would play you?
Yeah, that's a good question. In the first instance, I would love to be in a walk-on part in a Transformers movie someday. That would be great fun. Absolutely. I mean, we're coming up rapidly on the 40th anniversary of Transformers. So, it would be almost the fulfillment of a career thing to be, just a little cameo walk on in a movie sometime. God, who played me? I don't know. Who's young, handsome, and sort of, just would possibly kind of do me justice. The trouble is, it's almost
Jamie's
impossible.
Well, Simon, thank you so much for today, and I do apologise. It's just typical. My internet connection has been troublesome, and it's been freaking me out for this whole 20 minutes as I've been watching my signal die. But thanks so much for coming on and being a fantastic sport, and we really do appreciate it. So bye from me, bye from Andy and Alexis, and bye from Simon.
Bye all.
Right, we're finished.
And we're back.
Yes,
That was
and we're
brilliant.
back. Who started the video again? Was that you, Alexis?
He's
Alexis,
muted himself,
muted
so
yourself.
he's drunk
You
with power.
started the video again, didn't you?
I press buttons.
Too excited. Too excited.
I've got to say, it was amazing to have Simon Furman on. I was absolutely terrified during the broadcast, during the recording, and playing it back live because I didn't want to press any key and screw anything up. And Alexis has done an edit, which I think is better. I haven't got a chance to proofread it, so I'll proof watch it first. But I think it's better. He's managed to cut down a lot of the gumph and stuff which was there. That edit which you saw was done during the show live, like in shows and the pictures put in and stuff. So I do apologise. But I'll be still my beating heart. And then because Paul couldn't make it today, which was a pity, I never got to ask my personal questions because I was too focused on the TFUKcon stuff and sorting out other stuff.
We will do it again. We will do
it.
Paul,
definitely going to have him back on and stuff.
I know
like that.
Paul wanted to ask what was Simon's favourite cheese. So very, very important question.
Key questions that we need to have.
I got a
Everyone
message.
asking those questions.
You can imagine this. We're doing this recording, And I get a message from BT saying, "Oh, bandwidth is low in your area for a bit. We're switching you over to the BT open Wi-Fi." And I was like, "What?" and then as soon as the interview's coming to an end, they go, "Everything is fixed now. We're just going to disconnect you for 10 seconds, then you'll be able to go back." And
Perfect timing.
And I was like, of all the freaking times they could.
Yeah, you didn't get to say goodbye properly. You didn't get to say goodbye, did you? At the end?
No, I didn't.
No.
BT.
No,
It was really
yeah.
good. It was really good though. It was a really good show. Really good questions asked very well. I thought you guys did a really good job of interviewing him. I think it flowed really well as well. And that wasn't an edited version as well, and it still flowed really well. So well done to the three of you. Really well done.
That was not edited at all. But yes, Alexis, if you want to be doing the news,
Yeah, let's do let's do it.
Make us.
Okay.
Right, Alexis, you just did all the buttons.
I talk some TV, and now the news. Don't touch that dial.
You told me to do buttons.
No, you got the news up for. I thought you were getting the news up first. Have you got any pictures to share?
What do you do if you don't click buttons, Alexis?
Hang on. Let me get my window. Let me get my window.
Hands where we can see him, Alexis. Hands where we can see him.
I'm here. You had it, mate. All right, I'll do this. So what? I have no idea what this is, by the way. I guess this is an update for wave breakdowns for Studio Series 2023 Wave 3 and 4. Full stop.
Yes. Yeah, basically, it's just showing you that some of the chunks which have already been confirmed, and and just saying the stuff is coming out. So everyone's obviously excited for us now. Ratchet, yeah, but I guess it's just a remold of Ironhide. But at least we'll get one, because the other Ratchets, they were just ridiculous prices. So obviously with Indie Man Kapow, they'll be doing it all the independents, and Hasbro Pulse being open now would hopefully mean at least we get that opportunity to get something, and we don't have a repeat of the AFI's Ironhide and AFI's Ratchet scenarios and all. Was it Dirge? Was a difficult one, or was it Ramjet?
Ramjet was the hard. First was the hard one. Dirge is what they're doing. Yeah.
So hopefully we won't have that, and then obviously we've got like a Frenzy coming. I want a Buzzsaw. And we're going to have an updated Brawn, so we're going to have that Arc Crew eventually complete. And there's other things to be excited about and not so excited about. I think the TF7 stuff is more the kiddies line, isn't it?
That's going to be probably the movie, isn't it?
It is the movie.
You've got Rhinox, Hydra. These are some of the characters confirmed for the movie. So yeah, Transformers 7 being the seventh movie in the live action line. I was thinking as well, they've got War for Cybertron, Megatron, and further down Optimus as well. Are they going to be re-releases of Netflix, what we just had, or are we even going back to the video?
I think
Netflix is the game.
I think Netflix has lost its license, so theoretically they can bring out the Netflix versions now. So they can do a proper Soundwave again.
Yeah.
So, big question on Brawn then. If it's going to be Studio Series Brawn,
no, it's going to be based on the movie. Based on the movie.
That's what I mean. That's
what
movie
Studio Series 86.
If it's movie Brawn, will he come with a gun, and then will he have a big hole in his shoulder? Like, will he be dead?
Detachable shoulder.
But we're going to have the shuttle crew as well, because we've got an AFI's Pearl, we'll have an AFI's Ratchet, we've already got Ironhide there, and now we'll have Bronze, so we'll have that.
We need a detachable head for Ironhide when he gets his head blown off.
We could just say
too soon.
Yeah.
Just a bit harsh.
Ironhide haters.
I like Ironhide.
Yeah, he's my favourite character.
No Ironhides were harmed in the making of this
voiced
video.
by Colin, isn't it? I know.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Next picture, Alexis.
This is the next picture.
Is it? It's the same picture for me.
Yes.
So it's a different picture. Oh yeah.
TFUKcon, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I thought that to start with.
Yeah.
So we saw PR on this. I was talking with Drew on this, and PR being previously released, because you look at the ones it's against. We've got Starscream, we've got Tarantulas, Blitzwing, and Optimus Prime. So they were talking about on a live stream about some ones you get another chance to do it, and I wonder if they've just got some excess molds kicking around.
To be honest, the ones they've chosen are a bit odd, aren't they? Laser Prime and Blitzwing are saturated massively in the market. So, I mean, maybe in America it's different, or maybe in other countries it's different. But here in the UK,
maybe the QC might be better though, because
potentially,
when you look at
Oh, you
gaming stuff
dreamer,
like that-
Jamie, you dreamer.
But when you look at a lot of the stuff which is going for bargain prices and gaming stuff like that, the quality control is bad, if not worse, than initially release waves. And I think people are just happier because obviously a lot of people paid £5 for their Laser Prime. You know, when you think about discounts they were getting and stuff like that, and then they're also getting a £5 voucher, they got it from the shop. So a lot of people that, you know, when you're picking something up for a 5 or a 10, suddenly you're not so worried about QC issues as you would be if you're paying 55 quid.
Question from Mick here: do we think Bludgeon's going to be the IDW version or the Marvel version?
Or the
I would
G1
say
version?
Marvel. Could be G1. I think you're
Nah,
probably
it's a
more
Marvel
Marvel of the
version.
lot.
Shame on you, Rohan. Alexis debate.
I am a G1er. I'm a G1er and a dreamer.
But Alexis does the
so
animation and the comics. His expertise is unbound.
So Mick's a dreamer as well because he ain't getting that. He ain't getting. He ain't get. Oh, sorry, wrong comment. So Bubble Jumper's is a dreamer because he ain't getting that. There isn't going to be a reissue alt mode.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. That looks pish.
That's Cheetor from Rise of the Beast.
That's probably
it does.
doing a dance,
I
isn't he?
I liked how he looks in the trailer. I actually like that kind of mechanical beast design. That's not fabulous.
It's not exactly blending into the background, though, is it? You know, it's maybe
Can I
in
ask
disguise.
you guys, do you feel like they've made him look older? Like they've combined Cheetor and Tigertron somehow into one kind of weird older
he
cat?
doesn't have the youthful Cheetor look that he does from Beast Wars.
Have they lost that tagline of Transformers robots in disguise into Transformers robots in your face?
He colours in with the muddy water. What do you want?
So Deluxe was saying with the new Legends Ironhide, you've got the first New Age version, which is a teenage Ironhide, the new Age Ironhide, which is a 30s Ironhide, and Magic Square Ironhide is Grandpa Ironhide.
He's Voyager,
Wait, Ironhide was always Grandpa Ironhide. Let's just be honest.
No,
he was old when he was young.
If you watch Deluxe's video, it's very good on the comparison between the different Ratchets and Ironhides you can get now. We've got a Bumblebee.
Going to be more Rise of the Beast, isn't it?
That one doesn't have a bird in its chest.
Yeah, doing his best Beaches impression.
Blends him with the volcano there. Here's a box art.
Box art actually looks quite smart. I quite like that red eye look on the Cheetor version. That's pretty good.
Pity the toy didn't have it. Yeah.
Oh, so Jamie.
We're asking the hard questions here, they are not to.
Bit more box art there. There we go.
Give beasties a chance. That's all I say.
And we got a bit of prime action.
Yeah, now we saw sort of the leaks of this, and when I saw like the back of the package art, I actually thought they looked quite good. But now I've seen these, that's a lot of grey in the middle.
Yeah, we it has to blend in. We do have a comparison.
How many shades of grey? Is that enough grey to tantalise you?
Maybe 49, maybe 51, somewhere in between.
There. If anyone knows how to write that type of literature, then get in touch with me because I'm interested.
He's grey on the inside of the thighs and on the back of the legs. Is that even finished?
It'll give some of the buyers an opportunity to customize him.
It's a paint by numbers.
Oh Christ, that's awful.
It's hard, isn't it? It's the seventh time they're making this figure into this
sort
of
of well
mold.
practiced on
have a big penis on it like the Christmas trailer did.
Do you think, right? Do you think all the designers, when they get round, they go, right, like we're going to divvy up all the bots, right? Who's going to make it? And everyone goes, right, you guys are making Prime. Yay.
I like the exhaust stacks.
Alexis, we never got asked to be part of the round table. They had all these other interviewers. You had Russell with his muscles. And
it's who you know. It's who you know.
There are some nice subtle differences on there. The exhaust stacks, the little visors on the front, the bumper. It looks kind of nice in alt mode, I think.
I don't mind it in alt mode. It's very much like a stocky alt mode. I think the red, maybe it's a light, but the red looks a bit faded. It doesn't look vibrant.
Do you notice how they hide all the grey in the box art?
Oh, yeah. You just see the upper bit only.
All that green everywhere makes it shine.
But if people get a chance, I think Toys R Us, he did put up a video of the round table. You should well worth a watch, and especially if you like vintage G1 stuff.
There's a lot of this is what you were talking about, Ian.
Yeah,
there's a lot of negatives. A lot of negativity about this Prime. No one really likes this Prime, I don't think, at the moment. So,
I mean, I'd like to see it in hand or in like rip open the box to see how bad the rest of it looks. But it just
populist chicken pox.
Budget Prime,
Yeah.
says Robert Cobb.
budget Prime. Okay.
If
Now,
Prime was a GoBot, what would they look like?
Oh,
now I
has
just
anyone
think
seen
like
the
okay,
comparison on this? The comparison with this and the Rock Lord, which I looked.
yes.
That was very,
So
very
Rock
funny.
Lord- I haven't seen
Magmar. He looks awesome, Magmar.
I've just got a feeling that the person who drew this rhino or designed it hasn't ever seen a rhinoceros alive, because that looks almost more like a hippopotamus body shape with an armadillo kind of shell-like features, and you're putting a rhino head at the end. I am being too mean-spirited. Actually, I shouldn't be like this. I should be just going, that's okay.
not after Scotland's winning the rugby. I mean, good lord, man.
Oh,
But, you know.
you're dominant force now. It's been
Oh,
5
how'd
years
you
of
kick him?
Scottish
How'd you kick him?
dominance.
We said we were mentioned rugby. How'd you kick him? How'd you kick him?
We don't care because we could walk past your whole fucking team.
I'll kick you,
what,
as
we'll
well.
skip. We don't
It'll be
even
a-
hire
Anyway,
races.
anyway,
It'll
ladies.
be the Rohan and Alexa show for the rest of the night.
Oh god, no! Can't have the Alexa show. Right. So this is just like a remold of the Kingdom version. I actually think the Beast mode looks better than what
The
we got in
toy-
Kingdom.
Yeah, the toy kind of starts to look better when compared to the drawing. But
Yeah, but I'm not completely sold on the bot mode. But I don't know how. Apparently, and it is only like an early screening of the film. Rhinox doesn't actually appear that much, and he only gets one line. Whether they change that, I don't know. But that
well,
in
if you
early
look at him,
screenings,
he
it's
looks a
pretty
bit
Sounds
ridiculous,
realistic.
doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's probably
Looks like
like,
a
I was meant
radiator.
to be a
Oh,
hippo.
God.
But yeah.
He's got chains. Look, he's got chains. Like, what's that
Does
about?
that turn you on? 50 Shades of Rhino.
What do you think's happened? Did somebody gouged all
Starting
their
to think
parts
you-
out?
I come with my own chains.
And it
Mr.
turns
T.
on Andy. Turns on
Tie
Andy.
me up.
We know Andy's not on the show, but he's watching. That gets Andy going.
Oh yeah, Andy would be really excited by this.
Well up for that. He is.
He'd be using his teeth on those chains, going, ah.
That's an image for those of you at home.
Get in my mouth,
Yeah.
Andy. That's what Andy would be
Whoa,
saying.
that is a square backside.
There we go. That's,
Piss poor attempt at a tail.
I keep thinking Ace Ventura is
draw
going
on?
to be leaving
Yeah.
that backside with all the memes I've been watching.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the Kingdom version. It looks better, I think. But
Actually, I've got to disagree. I think the Kingdom version looks better. Do you know why? A, it's closer to the colour of an actual rhino. That's it.
Well, yeah, sure, okay.
That's it.
Please carry on in your synopsis, sir.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was a good mold when I saw it at the time. I felt it wasn't. I don't know. It didn't think of like a Rhinox character to me. At least what's on the left strikes me as like a big hunking robot underneath.
Well, I know Andy's watching. Andy, what do you think would make the Kingdom Rhino look better?
Which one would you rather in your mouth?
Oh, that's an interesting point Andy raises there.
Chips,
Yeah,
chips.
He's got his priorities right. He starts with chips. Always starts with
There
chips.
we go.
I feel like he's got a bit of a Beast Machines vibe about him. Not trying to
Movable
put people
horn.
off.
No, but I think
let's
you're
not
right,
bring the
Rohan.
mood down here, Rohan.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, you're probably right. It is more Beast Machines. I guess that's what they call it, Rise of the Beasts, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
It just seems to be going a step backwards to the Bayverse, but yeah.
Oi.
He's
here. Sorry, I'll prepare you for this. Get the lube.
Okay.
We'll edit that out. Don't worry. Prepare yourself.
Go again. 3, 2, 1.
I've never seen this before.
Wow. Where did this come from? That does look good, doesn't it?
He looks great. It's the one I've been racing for, to be honest with you. Snarl just looks so heroic from the top up, especially.
I said this at the time when I think you got the picture coming up when you got the 4 of them together. That red seems to pop a bit more. It's a very, very vibrant red.
It is gorgeous, yeah.
No hand gaps. I've noticed this. Like if you look at, there's no real gaps anywhere on him. He's a very clean.
Mind
like,
the gap.
Alexis checking out the gappage.
Right, he's right to do so. That's looking good.
There's been some
Alright,
complaints
the
about
chunk
the
is
gold
well.
color, hasn't there, on his head and
Yeah, it could just
doesn't
be early
matter.
releases though, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Because it does look like a little bit different, but give
Yeah,
it
the
time.
deal was definitely different. You're spotted on there. But then when you think about it, the first 3 Dinobots were slightly different.
Yeah.
Compared to Snarl and Swoop, it came later. So I
Yeah.
wonder if that's something to do with them being more honest with
Dave, how
animation.
dare you?
Maybe.
But I can't believe those are chug. These are chug figure, guys. That's this is
These are-
amazing.
These are big chugs, aren't they?
Mini masterpieces.
It looks very G1-esque actually. So I had Snarl as the only pretty much. I had Grimlock and I had Snarl as my Dinobots because again, it was, no one had all 5, right? But I had Grimlock and Snarl, and this looks very G1 to me, like very toy-esque.
I had a G2 Snarl.
Oh, he was cool. G2 Snarl, the green.
Yeah, he was red with gold.
You got the red one. Mm-hmm.
It's looking good, isn't it?
Yeah,
and
the scale.
And Swoop's going to be the same size, isn't he? He's going to be leader class as well.
Well, he should be, because for some reason people keep saying, "Oh, he was smaller," and he never really was. Not originally in the cartoon, and definitely not in the comics. And in the comics, they lost the size of the Dinobots halfway through and started making them the same size robot-wise as the rest of the Transformers. The artists anyway. I would have liked them originally staying much larger when they were, originally saw. But I'm looking for. I hope Swoop isn't made a deluxe. I just think it would. I don't see him being as right. Okay, I can grant maybe not as tall as others, but I would say only a fraction bit smaller.
There was a rumor, wasn't there, that he was going to be a Voyager, but like you said.
Sorry, Justin. I asked Andy on the chat. I said, Andy, with your chains, do you care? Right? What do you care, like, on the preference of the color? If someone has like a silver chain, a grey chain, a gold chain, would you care about the different color chains? Or he said this. He's motivated, just straight to the point.
Andy's going to have a go at me. I want you to do this.
As well he should.
I'm the one who's going to suffer.
You know what? Ian got shit last week. It can be Andy this week.
Oh, it's nice to someone else have a go. No, in worst case, he's going to be Swoop's going to be a Voyager, and the rest leader. But I think they'll all be leader. To be honest,
I hope so. It would be silly of Hasbro not to cash in. To be honest with you, and it makes sense.
Yeah, you're right, Rohan. Completely agree.
Who are you, and what have you done with Jamie?
No, it doesn't. Big hand stuff. God, for you hand people out there.
That is scary.
Visible hand syndrome. There's very much visible hand syndrome here.
So this is Lewin Prime. Oh, hang on, wait a minute.
What's Andy said now?
Wait.
Believe it or not, this is the fun part.
There we go. That's
smooth.
Paul wouldn't have missed the intro.
I have no idea what's coming up. It could go back to this, like, main line in a minute, right? It could be one of this.
Play the interview again.
Buttons, eh? Anyway, this is Lewin Resources Metroplex. So if you want to see what this looks like, go check out Ben's Collectibles. He's got a video. We've got one actually as well. So, but Ben is very close to the project. So go have a chat with Ben on his YouTube channel, on his Instagram or Facebook if you're interested in this. But Lewin Resources, who did the giant oversized MP10 Prime, which was like 4 foot tall. This is a 4 foot tall Metroplex, and they're teasing a TFUKcon. If you're not sure about what's going on in this sort of scale, then there's a small scale YouTuber called Arrow Mist,
Earth, Wind, and Fire, yeah.
Arrow Fire, and he's done a video on the various different the future of Titans and what's available at this sort of scale. Back to mainline.
Yes. This is the one. 35 years.
This is a good part. This is Origins Well, this is Origins, Autobot, Jazz, Bumblebee, Buzzworthy. They've got to get fucking smaller names. I mean,
On the box, all that on the box.
That's his official title name. By the time you've said that, you've already died of old age and ready for the next line. But yeah, it's Jazz, and it's good to be Jazz, Sabatronian Jazz, from the first episode.
Yeah.
And yes, and I think people are excited to have a Hoover.
It looks awesome.
It does look like a handheld Hoover, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Leave the Dysons out of it. Other Hoovers are available.
Yeah.
It looks great. I mean, even it's got a faux chest, obviously, but still looks the part.
Yeah.
It does look good. And he's quite a stocky boy as well. I was looking at the production shots. He's got big old shoulders, big old arms, big old legs, almost a Dreamwave styling to him.
Yeah. And fingers crossed for Wheeljack, and he hopefully will be able to put Bumblebee in there.
I don't know about fit inside, but you will get a Wheeljack.
Oh, do you mean fit inside?
Get a big inside. Yeah. That would be awesome.
Yeah. We'll definitely get a Wheeljack in that mode, though.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. You've got more of a chance of a pole dance thing coming in.
No gappage. No gappage.
Gap alerts.
No gappage.
Mark it in your books at home, people. No gaps on Jazz.
That's it.
And there's Mark.
Oh shit, gappage. Fuck's sake, Hasbro. Fucking hell.
That's transformation gappage. You have to allow transformation gappage.
There's none on the back, Alexis. You can calm down.
No, baby got back. That's good. It's
quite
a minuscule backpack, actually. They've all got.
It's not very nice to say a Mark.
He's got. They do. He does have his. His big boots on, right?
Yeah, he's got big flares, doesn't he? It's like the 70s Jazz. But yeah, he looks quite cool. I think people are going to be excited.
Absolutely.
I think Jazz is one of those unique things where almost every version of him has some positive remarks about it.
Yeah.
He's always made a sort of good figure. Yeah.
And a lot of people are now looking for Bumblebee again.
All right, Robert. What's going on here?
Oh, that's a strong comment. That's a strong comment.
Go on. I want to know why.
We knew you better.
I'm curious.
He's talking about Mark's physique, guys. Calm down.
That's even worse. Do not besmirch. Do not besmirch the Mark.
I will not, Andy.
So Mark is a god.
You know what? I'll tell you that. So we said to Andy, what do you do after they get the chains out? I was like, he's painting quite a picture here, Andy. I mean, he's trying to do that 50 Shades thing for me. It's working. I'll admit, it's working.
Claire, if you're watching, take his phone off him. He's going to get him in trouble.
No. Let's go back to a bit more side view. It looks like a cool car. I try. It looks like almost like out of F-Zero.
Sorry, it looks like a Hoover. It does look like a Hoover. Whatever you say.
You could paint it all white and then pretend it's the James Bond car from
blue. You can put your blue shit in there. Blue sports. There you go. And there's the Origin. Bumblebee Transformers Jazz.
Although the Bumblebee Buzzworthy comes first in the title, which is
That's good. Good stuff. This was revealed on the round table, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which we were not invited to. I don't know why.
Wheeljack next. Wheeljack next. I'm saying, so that'd be nice. So here's the spiel. Do you want to talk about this, Jamie?
Well, it's just basically they're talking about celebrating the last 40 years of Transformer history, and talking about this latest Transformer that's coming out and the Transformer Buzzworthy Bumblebee sort of legacy evolution line which they're doing. We've had that with Cliff Jumper and even Cup, where they've just improved in little bits, but this one seems like a complete unique model like the Bumblebee before. It does seem like it will have a lot of clear plastic, so we don't know. But I'll tell you what is interesting is when Simon was referring to, or Simon Furman was referring to, he would like a walk-on part on a Transformers movie or something like that. And I think that would be something really great if the powers that be at Hasbro actually made that true. Because I think he is one of the most well-known faces of the Transformers literature. And, almost like a godfather in a way, very much like Bob was, you know, and starting off the whole thing. And that's why we're here today, is because of those guys.
Very good.
Makes
Now,
sense.
very small tangent. So Andy invited me round for his last chain session, and he gave me the whip to give him a proper good thrashing. And you know and afterwards he just said to me this. He just said, you know, I was like, okay, I'll try a bit harder.
Alexis, what happens at Andy's house stays at Andy's house.
Exactly.
Why did anyone give Alexis the power to do this?
Official. I'm going to skip through these official photographs. I'll pause for a few seconds. Make your piece.
Move
Hoover
on.
one. Yeah,
Oh,
joking.
yeah, good.
Looks good.
Ah,
hang on.
back to third-party news. Who needs order?
Believe it or not, this is the fun part.
Probably just one photograph again. But well, yeah,
It probably is. Don't do the intro back again. We can't be here all night.
We'll be back to generations in a second.
We'll be in a second. So this is Flame Choi's Kura Jazz. It's up for pre-orders, as you can see, on the 10th of February, 12 p.m. 80. Is that 80 American time? I don't know. 80 at no, it doesn't say. It doesn't actually say.
No, at 12 p.m.
Yeah.
No, 80. That spells the word "at." It's not an abbreviation. At. It's a comprehensive word, Alexis, but it's only two letters.
That?
I'll help you through
What's
it.
What's that word? Oh, the right. That's it. The.
So
Okay.
anyway, this is what is being done officially, isn't it? It's not actually third-party news. I mean, this is the funny thing. It's a third-party company, but it's officially licensed.
Alexis keeps making that mistake, doesn't it? He keeps going third-party, and there we go back to basic.
But it is a third-party per se, but it is allowed to be done with the blessing of
third-party per se because they've got a fucking official license.
Well, they're not Hasbro. They're not the IP holders.
Leave us the Cara Hasbro, but we don't go to Cara third-party, do we?
What are they? They've got to be partners, haven't they? All right, third-party expert. Go on, you can do it.
It's Jazz Flame Toy. It's going to be an over-stylized statue-like figure. That's it. Board.
Okay, you've read the poster.
Right. Oh, this is actually. Should I do the third-party thing now?
No.
Because this is, I'll tell you why I won't do it. Because this is actually a bit of fake news. This isn't real. This is a digibash of someone actually doing it. So there is a customizer who does this to Phoenix, but because the generations, I would say, Wolf Cybertron Phoenix, not Phoenix, Jetfire has this sort of mode, and you get the faceplate for the Takara official one as well. So I thought it'd be cool to do this as well. And I stuck this on here because I want to use it in my comparison. So it's just there as a reminder. So thanks for the reminder.
No, back to Generations again.
No, again, there's some more news. We're not really sure about what the headmasters are going to be. It's back to Chug stuff. And when Alexis does the news, everything's just random party of fun and excitement. Unless you're Andy.
Worry and despair.
And yeah, we don't know what. There's a jungle mission pack. I presume that might be. I have no clue. Hound? I don't know. No clue.
It says MV7 could be again the movie.
Transformers Bumblebee movie 7. That doesn't make any sense, does it?
On that point, Jamie, though, I did ask Andy. I said, Andy, who does know about the super fun stuff that you do off camera? And he came up with one option. Bet he does.
Oh, that dodgy Rohan.
Oh, you found the
Thank you, Jamie. Thank you.
The Predacon Antagony. That should be just a repaint of Inferno because it was back in the Beast Wars days. I doubt it's a new mold. Don't really know much of the others though. Like it's a bit vague.
Windsweeper could be Needle Nose, but we'll have to see.
Alexis, switch on the news. People are dying of old age.
Oh, okay, right. So I'll switch. Okay, there we go. What's this?
Is that the Antagony colours? Because that's sort of the colour scheme that it was. It was just a repaint of Inferno. So yeah, that could be it.
Beast Wars figure.
Yeah.
Beast Wars is not illegal, Jamie.
Right, we got some. I'll skip to the main page. Funko Pops. So we've got some Funko Pops. Okay, if you're into Funko Pops. I'll just flick past it, shall I? Just keep going, yeah? Just flick through. We're getting bored of these. Is that what you said? We're going through it, right?
Prime versus
Prime versus Prime shots. There's loads of these of Sky Hammer, so Sky Quake. They're all related.
It looks good.
It does. I think a lot of people are excited to get this figure.
Yes.
Hefty jet mode. Nice.
Get a docking there
I like
going
that.
on. Everyone
That's
loves a bit. Everyone loves a bit of docking.
Loves a bit of docking.
There we go. There we go. Flying's got his spinning on. It's cool. Oh, third party stuff.
That's a third party again.
Extransbots blades.
It's
Their
pretty cool.
combiner, which looks realistic. I like how you got the guns on the side as well, which is Jian. So it's
which is great for a medical helicopter.
exactly that. Here he is as an arm, which that's the money shot, really.
It's definitely an arm.
There he is from that. Actually, no, this is the money shot. It's a behind alt mode.
Alexis, did you take that picture?
Stop down.
Do you know what? They listen to me. They listen to me in fair play. We have a bit of fans hobby. Just a little place. So obviously this is the new one, the Dreadwind or Darkwing, whoever it is.
No, G2 Starscream.
No, it's Dreadwind.
It's supposed to be Dreadwind that they're working on.
It's the cartoon colors. He was different in toy to cartoon to comic book. So
fair enough.
But that is the comic book. Sorry, the cartoon colors there. I want the base. I don't know about you, Rohan. I like the base.
Yeah, it's cool.
It does look pretty cool. And this is so we've seen this before, Lucky Cat, but this is Lucky Cat in a comparison with other combiners. Now, I think that, am I right in saying that the ones at the back here, they're customs? The Terracons and
I don't recognise them.
Yeah, because the Predaking, that Razor Claw's MMC's one, yeah, but the rest of the parts aren't.
Yeah, it looks like Iron Factory's version of the DJD, because you can see the treads here.
Yeah, I think it looks very tarn, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it looks. And you got the war. Is that Warbitron Bruticus on the left?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
That's Iron Factory Bruticus. So this is what I was trying to show. This does scale.
Because it's the legend scale. Yeah.
Yes, it scales quite well. So this is obviously the Mech Fans Toys Omega, but again, Bruticus is always a little bit smaller than the Magic Square Menasor. So if you want to have a Devastator of that scale, then Lucky Cat is your option. And they do actually have as well, which you don't have to show you, but you can buy a Power Rangers as well, which looks very good at the same scale, 7-inch Power Rangers.
Because Power Rangers and Transformers go together.
The same thing, right? It's like GoBots, right?
Yep. Oh,
yeah. No. That was the news.
In the bear.
No, we got through it. Wow.
Yes, we really got through it.
With our lines to tell the tale.
So Alexis.
Andy's been the bigger man here. Damn it.
Even if it was in the wrong order.
Didn't quite read all the comment, did you?
Oh, hang on. Oh, fuck you, Andy. No, I didn't. So what we doing next? Is it Dick Ups?
Yes.
Press the button.
We now return to the Transformers.
There we go. I'll go first. I got fuck all.
What?
It's because you've got it all the last 2 weeks.
I told you, I let my things build up and then I get them all at once, so it's like a massive haul.
Why don't you spread out your pickups over weeks so then you've always got something? God knows you've got enough choice.
Because then the wife gets suspicious if I get something every week for the post. I get one package like every
Doesn't
2
get
weeks.
suspicious when there's 500 boxes coming in.
No, it's just one. No. Yeah, exactly. It's like one big.
I'll tell you what. You do a good job of hiding it, Alexis. She'll never know.
If you look, the box situation, it's nearly there. Like these, that's got to go back. That's broken.
Drastic improvement.
These are unopened.
For someone who hasn't got any pickups, he's still managed to take up fucking things.
Oh no! I did one thing actually. I created a new mode. I created a brand new mode for Double Dealer. It's his bird car.
You mean you started transforming it and thought, fuck
No.
this, it's just time to start the
No.
show.
I thought, look, bird car. It's like wing car. It's like tracks, but with wings.
I think we're losing I think we're losing subscribers and watchers.
Yeah.
I think they're going. I think they're switching off.
Actually, we're up to 39.
Oh God.
Next, move on.
So, yeah, good.
But you're supposed to say who don't just say
Okay. All right, Ian, you go next.
Oh, well, okay, fine. So, I got, if someone wants to put me on big screen or whatever, I will need at least one of them on big screen.
Let's do that.
Paul would have done this by now, I'm just saying. Not you, Nobed. Thank you. Right, so I got Earthspark Bumblebee, and I put him in car mode, and I actually don't mind him. First Bumblebee I've actually ever got, and he's different yellow in every panel. So, yeah, there's that. Also, there's his head underneath. Hello. So, yeah, he's fine. He is what he is. I also got the Earthspark Megatron, who's, underwhelming, disappointing. Out of all of them, and considering
that wasn't your initial thoughts.
No, I didn't speak in it. I didn't, it's a silent video, Alexis. But of the first one I got, the Switch, that's by far the best one. That she's brilliant, really good fun. Bumblebee's okay, and Megatron just
is that because
needs to be bigger.
You don't actually have a version of us as a Switch, where the other two we've had numerous different interpretations of.
True.
Yes and no. You are right in what you say. Well, would you believe that is my first ever Bumblebee?
What?
Yeah. And you wait for that one.
I have.
Yeah. Brave lad. Yeah.
Well, what does that tell you? Well, no, I tell a lot. I have got the Hearts of Steel Centurion. He's.
It's just been lies tonight, lies after lies.
Yeah.
But no, I've never been a bigger fan of Bumblebee, and even the Masterpiece version, I just think looks a bit average. But I just thought, oh, that looks harmless fun. No other one really makes me want to get it.
I thought it was really crude there.
You've had your turn, Alexis. You can wait.
Really
wait till the camera comes on.
Bumblebee Virgin.
What I also got, and you see this in the chat as well, is a gift set of Make Toys Quantron version of Computron. I'll be honest, because as you know, I've been collecting this and I was doing them one at a time, and I had 3 of them trying to track down Afterburner and Scattershot, and that was getting really difficult, even though I did 3 of them okay. Found this on eBay, did really well for the price of it, but I actually didn't realize it was the box set. I thought I was just buying 5 individual bots sold as one package into one box, but 5 individual boxes like you can get, because that's what I've been doing, getting them all individually. To my pleasant surprise, when I opened the box, it came in the gift box set. So considering what I paid for it and how much you can still pay for it, I've done really bloody well.
How much?
140.
Wow,
that's really good.
Awesome.
That's really good. That's really good.
Considering you can get it for 350 quid plus import of America.
I struggled to sell mine 2 years ago.
The version your wife's not going to be watching later.
Oh yeah.
25p in a bag of Cheetos.
I'll text you. I
sold mine for 150 quid about 2 years ago, but I struggled to sell it for that. Like at the time, like no one wanted it.
Yeah,
so,
and it's because now it's like a legacy item, not pun on the name. It's an older item. You pay for the late tax, the fact it's rare, and they ain't going to make it again.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's good. I like the feet because they have little like it's called like rubber, so it doesn't ever fall over.
Yeah, and I actually got one of them out already. I got Scattershot out just because I hadn't. He's been messing around, but I really like him. He's a big old butt.
Yeah,
he's quite old.
It looks good.
Still haven't combined them yet. I haven't worked up the courage because I hear it's a bit of a mess. But yeah, that's my pickups for the week. All in all, I'm not too unhappy with that. I will choose, and you can go next.
Is that me?
There's you.
Wait, right. I got a bit of a bumper week this week. I've done an Alexis. I don't know how it happened. It just sort of happened. So apologies in advance. Right. Number 1, I managed to pick up on eBay. Road Hauler. Always wanted a Road Hauler. I've got a Legends version. This mold is excellent. I actually hadn't opened my Grappling Inferno yet, believe it or not. So because this one was used, it was already open. So yeah, love it. Really good. Color scheme's great. Shouty face is nice. Jason Luke sold me on Facebook on the groups Legacy Bulkhead, which I actually already have, but I've got an idea for him. Put him together with the other one and create Sticks and Stones, or what they call the two brutes who stick together in Transformers world. In GoBots, they're Sticks and Stones anyway. And he came with a free scrapbook, which is awesome because I was going to get scrapbook anyway.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, to get him for free was like amazing. I mean, he's got an issue with his arms. They pop off and I was transforming him earlier, it went flying across the room. But, you know, still for free, you know, with all the combining bits and pieces that are going on with these guys, I'll just stick him in alt mode and put some bikes in front of him or whatever. So that was cool. I also picked up, I haven't had a chance to get all of these out just yet, but
you're not thinking about Rack and Ruin, are you?
Rack and Ruin, that's the one. Thank you.
They're small, they're tiny.
They are, yeah. I'm going to make a big version. These are Generation 1.
Rack and Rowan.
Rack and Rowan.
You proud of yourself, are you? Really?
Generation 1 cassette bots.
Oh, so wow, they're rare.
That is Slam Dance. I've got Beast Box and Squawk Talk. Eject,
I beat you, Andy. Don't try to show off.
So yeah, a whole bunch of sets in here. A couple of world's smallest Transformers. Some of these are going to be going up for sale because I've actually already got some of these. But hey ho, I managed to pick up from TK Maxx for the princely sum of £20. Get out there; they are in the stores right now. Legacy Galvatron. I really only picked him up because I had the Kingdom one with the dodgy shoulders and the battle damage, and this one obviously doesn't have the dodgy shoulders or the battle damage. So yeah, for 20 quid you can't really go wrong for a leader class.
Drew, just asking Drew said what Drew's asking you to send him to Pete, but I don't know what him is, so I don't know which bot
he wants you to send himself to Pete.
I'm not sending you anything, mate, or sending anything to Pete. Yeah, right.
Maybe
this is the last one.
And there's been a lot of positive comments as well on your George Michael-esque facial hair as well. So.
Hey. Legends class Devastator KO. Load and
not my comment.
It needed to be done.
It's not my comment. It's not my comment.
Titans Returns, guys.
Slugslinger, very nice.
Slugslinger and
yeah.
Trigger Happy and the Misfire, who everybody wants.
Wow.
Wow.
A lot of people also asking for this guy recently, I've noticed. So, Energon Mirage. Yeah. And then loads and loads of stuff in here. There's
where did you get this from?
This is all stuff I bought from a chap who was selling his collection, and I've done a few deals with him where he's just looking to offload in bulk, and I'm just picking them up, doing a sort of good price for him, good price for me, so I can resell the figures on. So there's going to be some of these, well, probably most of these going up for sale in the future. But yeah, good stuff. I'm not going to go through them all because there's like 100 bots in here. So
there'll be a lot
me.
of people after Misfire, that's for sure.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, well, if you sell them all as a set, you'll do really well.
Yeah. I probably will.
The Junkion that Drew meant to send to Pete. So I don't know. So Pete's
Pete does need more Junkions in his life.
You know, do your little sad letters at another convenient time, not during a live show.
Right into Agony Aunt.
Yeah. And
right into Simon Furman.
Out of the four of us, Rohan's the least likely to fall for that. He's hardened.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have a soul and be a GoBot fan. They don't combine.
No.
Go on then.
Right, go on then. What are your pickups then?
Come on, Jamie.
Well, my pickups, what basically I have is been opening some stuff I've been saved up for Christmas, and that was like my Dungeons and Dragon figures, and which I was quite happy and delighted to eventually open up. Made sure that obviously the weather was a little bit better, and because of like typical Hasbro QC issues, etc., and the fact that these are just figures, you have to sort of use a warm bath, basically. So what I usually do is, put some boiling water from my kettle into a pot, put them in sort of freezer bags, seal them up, and then put them in the water for like maybe 30 to 60 seconds. Make sure everything's nice and warmed up before I try to put them into different poses, because a lot of these figures, like sometimes with G.I. Joe figures and Star Wars figures and stuff like that made by Hasbro, they tend to snap some of the joints if they're ever been stored in a really cold place and stuff like that. They're not warmed up properly, so it's trying to limit those damage. And it seems to be that a lot of these figures, even later, people warm them up again before they dare try to change the poses. Wow. And they're definitely not got the same articulation like the G.I. Joe figures or the Star Wars figures or like the Marvel figures. They're very much lose a lot of that to look more like the cartoon figures, and I just hope we get a chance to complete the rest of the line, or the rest of the party at least, but I just don't know if that will happen. Kind of hope they do, but you just don't know. Obviously I opened up Crankcase. He's a gorgeous figure. It's good to have that character. He's a bit stunted with the guns though. Hang on, did
you get him this week?
Opened them up, yeah.
Did you get him in the post this week? Did it come through the door?
Oh yes. Well, I don't know if it came through the post. Me, Lynn collects my post. I don't do the manual stuff like that.
Are you saying that this isn't a pickup from this week? Are you saying you've gone full Alexis? This isn't a pickup from this week.
Alexis,
never go full Alexis. Never.
But Alexis, could I go out with this, please, if that's okay?
I will allow it.
Like Alexis does every week.
Paul's not here. I'll allow it.
Right. Okay. So basically, as I was trying to say, his guns are a bit stunted. It looks like Alexis in a cold fucking morning. and basically, the third party guns.
All right, Ian.
The third party gun, it's going to cost like 15 quid or something like that. So it's like, basically, it's more expensive than the figure, because I think Kapow Toys were doing this guy for £12. So the third party gun was going to cost me more than the figure, which I got from Kapow Toys for £12. Lucky enough, he didn't have any dents and stuff like that, but I can't be arsed transforming. I've had this mold so many times now, and it's not my favourite mold, as I've repeatedly said. But yeah, it's good to have that figure. Cool. Now, this is to do with Jazz Origins. Now, obviously, this is not something I picked up. It's referring to the Jazz Origins. Bumblebee, Buzzworthy, and it was just to remind what good Jazz figures we had. And it's sometimes good to get to a figure you've had in your collection for quite a couple of years and just look back on it. And I started to have a lot of love for this Jazz figure, and he is really good. That's what movie 86. And yes, I mean, obviously a lot of clear plastic, people are a bit worried about when they transform and stuff like that. Not got the cleanest transformation, especially when complete, but still, it's a car, it looks cool. And from a distance with some shots with other of the Earth-sized vehicles, a lot of people would mistake these things for masterpiece at first glance. That's the level we have gone to. One of my photos, actually, a lot of people were thinking, my God, how far Chuggy's actually moved on. And then looking on, we've got more Jazz, and there's Universe Jazz, reveal the Shield Jazz. I don't have reveal the Shield Special Ops Jazz. That's and because that's what he was also second command of the Autobots, but in the comics, but he was also the Special Ops team as well. And yes, to a lot of people, that was the sort of the definition of what a Chug figure should be. And this guy came out in 2010, so for a figure to hold that for 13 years and still be a great representation is just something I think amazing. And I think Jazz there's a lot of people with the Origins Jazz, Bumblebee, Buzzworthy, they're going to like it, because I think he's always seems to be a figure which seems to get a lot of love. And then looking at Jetfire from last week, when people were talking about the Masterpiece version, it made me want to get the Chug version out again. Just take some photos because I had the time, and you just forget how good this guy actually is.
But this isn't pickups, is it? This is just show off.
This is definitely not pickup. I've had that, Alexis. Funny enough, when I was reviewing this figure 3 years ago, you talked all the way through that as well, and kept asking what photos were coming next. But yes,
things never change.
I do love this figure.
Do you know if you sent me your photographs in advance of the show, I can get all out of the way before
You
the
still
show.
wouldn't look at that.
We did that. We did. I'll tell you a story. I was doing the Unicorn review, and I said to Alexis, "Now I got the world's smallest hot rod. I'm going to pretend to Paul that this is actually Titan's Return hot rod. Don't spoil this joke, please."
Did you say that to me?
Yes. And as soon as we were watching the video, and I go, and this is the scale. There's hot rod on Unicorn's hand. Paul's going, "Oh, that's amazing. That's Titan's Return top." And I was going, "Yeah." And Alexis went, "No, that's the world's smallest."
Can't take you many.
Wait then. Did you put it in the chat?
I spoke to you. I spoke to you. And you're like,
dig that hole, Alexis.
I just want to show my version of Jazz because we're talking about Jazz, so I thought I'd show Jazz. And I said,
is that your pickup? Did you get it?
I did get it this week, actually. Yeah,
I got it last week and we showed it last week.
I was going to say that was in the Jetfire set, wasn't it? Does not count.
There was one thing I got incorrect, actually. They do have elbows. I got it wrong. They do actually have elbows. So you can see it has a bended elbow, and so it doesn't actually bend.
Stop doing this to me. The's a guy selling one for 200 quid on the groups. I'm tempted to buy it just for the mini.
Why don't you buy it and then just give me the Jetfire? I don't care about small toys.
I've only got 6 mini bots now, like at all scale perfectly. But you know what the fuck? I'll show him later. I'll tease you later. So okay, we're done with all dick ups then. So I think now it's time for. I think it's time now. It's only probably quite relevant if Rohan, you can start the call for Rohan's Corner today.
Well, we've got a special Rohan's Corner this week.
You do it in an Irish accent, please. Thanks.
In an Irish accent. Now you put me on the spot.
Top of the morning to you.
Come on, laddie. Come on, laddie.
Is that both your Irish accents?
Yeah.
Right. Potatoes.
Get that idiot on, shall we?
Best intro ever.
I'm Scottish. I'm almost Irish. With the Scottish. Rohan.
Who is this super YouTuber? Is it Paul, the Joy Toy Collector? Andy, the Newcastle United fan? Jamie, the GoBot hater? Alexis, the salesman? Rohan, the man with the plan and the Wall of Fame? Might just be Rohan's Corner, Super Transformers guy. Rohan's Corner, poking Hasbro in the eye. Oh, he's so fly, a groovy guy with a beard that just won't stop. When the bots get rough, he's super tough as third party cleans up. Rohan's Corner, Super Transformers guy. Rohan's Corner, poking Hasbro in the eye. Welcome to the most must-see YouTube Transformers channel. Welcome to Rohan's Corner. And welcome to Rohan's Corner on Transformers the Show, the most must-see YouTube Transformers channel. And this week I've outdone myself. Well, not really, because it's a video I've been trying to make for 2,438 days. And if you're a normal person and you don't talk in days, that's about 6 years and 6 months. But that can't be right because I've not been on the show that long. So, you know, I guess I've not been trying to make it for that long. What I've been trying to do is get this episode on since day one. It's something I've been doing for 6 years and 6 months, and that is playing Transformers Earth Wars. Now, for those of you who aren't aware, Transformers Earth Wars is a mobile game platform which has been around for some time. It takes the idea set of tower defense and Pokemon and layers some Transformers characters over the top and gives you a game. Who knew? And it is fun, and it is monotonous, and it is collect them all. But it's still Transformers. So let's take a look at it.
Megatron must be stopped, no matter the cost. Yes! Excellent! Megatron must be stopped, no matter the cost.
Now, without further ado, we take you to Rohan's Corner's base. Well, Blue Streak 56, that's my game handle. And you can see I've built up a pretty nice base here. We've got walls, we've got defense tower units in the sense of these auto cannons and shock towers. We've got stasis mines, and we've got combiners and defensive robots too. I've chosen these guys here to defend my base because they're some of my strongest characters. You can tell the number in the top right corner showcases their power level, and other types of units walking around. The generators here working away, generating energon and generating alloy for me to be used for purchasing in or building items in the base here. We can see my Metroplex Titan defending the base, available for use on attacks in the right corner here, and the tower here itself, the headquarters, which provides the ability to upgrade all your various different units, various different towers, various different capabilities like your combiner lab and your space bridge, which is where you get free crystals, and you can open up crystals, you can buy crystals, you can use crystals that you've already attained in events and the such like. On the right hand side here we have our power core lab, where you can assign bot cores or building cores to strengthen the abilities of those two types of characters, units. So we can assign mini cons, mini bots, target masters to our characters to enhance them, as we have here on Alpha Bravo Top Heavy, and they give them different capabilities. You can also assign power cores to enhance those characters by assigning specific ones, i.e. like Silverbolt here has his G1 Silverbolt power core, enhancing his attacks, or you can use more generic ones where it just enhances a certain capability. Like in Warriors, you can have someone who's got extra armor, got specific key capabilities. Medics have their medical capabilities, or you can assign squad capabilities to improve the entire squad. You can also research your characters and improve them up until their maximum levels. Obviously, this requires resources, and as you research them, they get stronger. Inventory items that can be used in the space bridge to bring you more. Let's open some. There are various different levels of character, so you can have a 2-star, a 3-star, a 4-star, or a 5-star version of each character of Autobot or Decepticon Descendancy. Now that the game has been combined into both factions available to you to play at the same time, although you still have one primary faction. And I've decided to open 10 crystals, so this is taking a little while. Any duplicate characters are turned into additional crystals or additional value items. Being part of a team means that you work together in your alliance to achieve promotion, as we've just seen here, in terms of wars or in terms of the weekend events. Here we can see I've got 5-star characters, several of them, 4-star characters, hundreds of them, 3 and 2-star characters. And right to the bottom, we can see my missing characters. All of these are still yet to be attained. You can filter them by their character type. 6 years and 8 months I've been playing this game. Current XP is 1083, win streaks, troops unlocked, etc, etc. Here's my overview, my collections. You can see how many of each various different collection type you've collected, whether that be Autobot or Decepticon. And look at the detail of how many you're outstanding or have collected. Every individual character has their own special abilities, so we can go in here and we can see for Silverbolt, he uses his EMP bomb. Each of those special abilities can be upgraded up to a certain point. I can't upgrade his EMP bomb any further. If I go into Sunstreaker, I can see his Incendiary Barrage shoots out 6 rockets that engulf a large area in flames, dealing an approximate 5,890 fire damage. That can still be upgraded, and it requires a certain amount of spark and energon to do so. Also, if I click on a character, I can go into their lab and see all aspects of that character in depth of detail. And we can see that these characters were designed back in 2016 when sort of the Combiner Wars / Titans Return lines were around and have been updated, some of them, with War for Cybertron skins and the ability to update them to G1 themed designs, and obviously come with certain mini characters that are from further lines as well. And you can just transform him there to see him again. So let's jump into a battle. Pick a squad. Pick a target. Go and fight. Each individual character can be selected up to 8 within the dropship, and also a Titan or a Combiner if you so wish. All of the defending team's base units, tower units if you like, some have got the ability to enhance your character's special ability number rating here. In the bottom left corner, we start with 34. Each character has a special ability that they can utilize when you drop them. As you can see here, we drop these characters down here. Their special abilities are highlighted, and you can utilize them. As you destroy buildings, you gain more. As you can see, we're going up here. If I pick Silverbolt to fly over, he transforms, flies over, and releases a shock bomb, neutralizing that air defense unit right there to stop me from being taken out. I can eject, specifically rewind eject Ramhorn and Steeljaw from Blaster here to take out some defense units. I can use Prowl transform with some missile launcher rockets here. Use Beast Wars Optimus Primal to target defenses, speed up my game, and use Hot Rod Rodimus's shield capability here. At the same time, my Titan is taking on the opposing team's Titan, and he can be summoned to use special capabilities also against them. Not doing particularly well in this fight here. You can also deploy special features, like here I have a special capability which is some Sharkticons, and we can be defeated. Every fight, every time you deploy, you earn XP to gain rank points to the next level, and then when you level up, you can get to the next power level rating. So in a nutshell, that is the game. You keep doing those attacks in special situated scenarios, whether it be on a war against a specific campaign, whether it be in battles, just like we saw there, whether it be in chapter storylines, or whether it be in weekend events, which are my favorites, where you work together in a leaderboard with all those members of your team to create an overall reward level, which you can then all take part in. At the same time, there's the Cyberpass campaign running, where you can collect further rewards by achieving certain different things, like win 25 hard events, win 5 Alliance War mode battles, and so on and so forth. There's a pretty big community for this online. There we go. Enjoy. And those are my thoughts on Transformers Earth Wars. I shall still keep playing this game, free to play, of course, until the day it dies, just like I did the last game, which I can't remember the name of, but that was basically Pokemon meets collecting cards with Transformers layered over the top of it. Anywho, for another week on Rohan's Corner, I've been Rohan. That guy in the corner over there has been Bumblebee or Slumblebee. He's been useless. And once again, thank you for joining me back to the studio. Transformers, Rohan's in disguise.
Sorry, I just unmute everyone now.
Video. That was a fantastic video, Rohan. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
There we go.
I know you're also a fellow player of the game as well, Jamie.
Oh, yes. I'm in a good alliance. It's quite casual, easy going.
That's good. Yeah, some can be a bit too serious.
Yeah, not when I'm
Autobots in that one.
Yes. So now we're going to do a little bit of foreplay.
Lynn, these are sex people.
What do you mean?
They're sex swappers. Lynn, this is TFUKcon 1. Look. Look. Don't make the same noise as them. Don't think you want to join in.
Alexis, could I interject for a second? We said we weren't doing foreplay tonight because we had the Simon
Oh, did we?
Furman interview. Yeah.
Oh, did we? I was asking you.
Alexis is well prepared.
that might explain why no one has a fucking clue what the foreplay would be.
Well, that's why I asked. That's why I asked on the. I thought we have mentioned it, as everyone just forgotten. I did put in the private chat. I said, "We doing foreplay," and you didn't say yes or no. So
I didn't need to say because I did in the real fucking chat.
Foreplay, everyone, is Simon Furman. If you want to watch it, it's at the start of the video.
I apologise. I've sworn twice now. It's him.
Oh yeah, we're not doing foreplay. Well, put it in the chat.
Oh, good. He's read the message.
All right, I'll edit that out. It's fine.
End it now, Lord. End it.
Are you now going to do discussion then?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Let's get that.
Play the discussion intro, Alexis.
This is something that.
We now return to the Transformers.
Now, this discussion is actually something that was actually fought out between the four of us well in advance of one, even a week ago. It was a good one. I think it was Paul who thought of it. And it's a pity he's not here, because it was good. It was to talk about our most underrated Transformers. Transformers who we don't think get enough spotlight or the attention they deserve. And it's quite interesting because connecting it with Simon Furman's interview, a lot of those Transformers that didn't get the spotlight were the ones that were ideal for Simon to use for the story to the UK Transformers, which ironically pushed them right into the spotlight.
Yep.
Yeah. So could we think of characters which IDW's forgotten about and its storylines of death and morbid, stuff, which, which are just forgotten about, and even G1 Transformers, or even, well, I don't want to say oh God, I can't say it.
Beast Wars.
Oh yes. Even those characters, is any of them you think have not got the spotlight they deserve? Or they're underrated for a reason because they're pish.
This is on everyone's choices, doesn't it?
There's so many characters. Sorry, go on now.
I was just going to say, I actually did this as my first ever YouTube video. I did a top 5 most underrated Transformers. Please don't watch it because it's fucking horrible. But it's like 3 years ago, really finding my feet with it. But one of the characters I chose was Trigger Happy. In that, whilst he's a popular character and we love the Titans Return mold of him, outside of the Rebirth cartoon and maybe Japanese exclusive cartoons, you don't hear of him. Even in IDW or even other toy lines, and Titans Return was a really good bot, but that's a bot he's maniacal. He loves to shoot, loves to war. He's one of the new age seekers with Misfire and Slugslinger. There's something to do there, and yet we haven't seen anything of it. And I think in the War for Cybertron Netflix series, that would have been a good way to kind of put him in, because he's a very Cybertronian-like style jet. That would have been a good time to be a seeker there, but they weren't going to put him in at the expense of Thundercracker or Starscream.
The interesting thing is that even in the Japanese continuity Headmasters, when they introduced Target Masters, they didn't actually focus on the Decepticons pretty much at all, apart from just mention them. So Point Blank was the leader of the Autobot Target Masters. They came in about sort of halfway through the season, and he was introduced and he sort of led some of the brigades and some of the fights. And he just paired off against like the Decepticon Target Masters as they were known, but they never really featured them individually or who they were as leaders. So valid point.
Yeah, I just think there's potential there because we like him. We like Misfire as well. Misfire actually in IDW gets a really good outing. He gets quite a bit of spotlight with the
he was in a team, wasn't he? He was in a team.
Yeah,
I've forgotten the name.
The Scavengers. Yeah,
Scavengers.
They were kind of like the Misfits. They were the odds and sods, but he was quite a good character. Very good British sense of humour to his character. I don't recall.
Did he die?
I cannot, for sake of spoilers, I cannot confirm nor deny. But actually thinking of it, and someone in the chat, Joe, don't nod. Someone in the chat can confirm for me. I actually don't think Trigger Happy is used in IDW comics. I can't think of him appearing.
Is it because he's got an orange face? I don't know.
Those orange face guys.
He likes a tan bed. What can I say? That's my pick.
Trigger Happy is secretly not really a Target Master. He's really a Headmaster, and Headmaster is actually an Oompa Loompa.
God, that shit.
I apologise that you just dropped.
We need a new
Christ
video.
on a bike.
Something that has the real emotion we all feel tonight after hearing that.
So Rudy created our trombone for my dry.
He should have asked for being paid every time it gets used.
Yeah.
Rudy, I know I don't think Rudy's in the chat room, but Rudy, when you watch this back, can you try and create something updated that's
See, I didn't
even
swear
more
last
tragic?
week, but Alexis being in charge and being the host, I didn't swear non-stop.
Alexis being in charge.
Like how you walk it. But yeah, I think Trigger Happy is actually an awesome shout, and it's phenomenal when you think what an introduction the character had in the cartoon. And what a toy it had. One of the most popular toys, which was great as a figure, had great fan-made third-party option mode, you know, where it looked like that sort of Robocop android, whatever you call it, not Ed, but you know, you know, not Ed. And you know, and obviously even in toy mode, you know, he could flip his guns around and suddenly he's firing 4 guns at once, or he's target master. A phenomenal figure, and yet no one's really gave him justice in the cartoons or comics, really.
Yeah.
I was hoping that we actually did get a proper season, or you know, or 4. We would have got to see more of these characters, and hopefully maybe future Simon Furman can even write more stories involving these sort of like new characters, like the new Seekers.
True.
So I'm gonna give a quick shout. I think that underrated characters who have had, I think, pretty much like 1 episode in the original G1 and Headmasters, and then potentially 2 episodes, I think, in IDW, or 2 like sort of areas, is the Monsterbots. Because they came in.
They
came in.
He was all ready to take it down there.
They came in and they basically
make a better one.
They did was like 1 episode or half an episode in like Headmasters, and they came in and sort of dropped off the dropship to help the Dinobots, but there was nothing really there. And I was like, I really like, because I had who's the bug looking one? Can't remember his name now.
Those smaller pretenders that have got such you know, it's hard to get them complete. You know,
Repugnus.
I've seen the whole team getting sold. That's not. Are you talking about the? I thought you were talking about the monster pretenders, not the monster.
No.
You mean like Repugnus, don't you?
Yes, Repugnus. Yeah,
Repugnus and Fangry and
Double Crosser.
Oh, well, he's the Autobot monster bot, isn't he?
Yeah.
Double, you know,
double cross, Repugnus, and then the cat like lion thing,
the purple white one. What's his name?
Yeah.
Someone's got to know. I'm
underrated for a reason.
I obviously know. I'm just testing you.
So I got Repugnus from a car boot for £2 back in the 90s, and the flames still come out. His sparks still come out. Grotesque. That's it. Yes, well done. Andy.
Oh, look, Andy's just typed that just now.
I mean, Andy, what do you really think of Jamie's comment there?
You don't have the fucking word up first.
Yeah, don't put it on screen first. My Christ.
Anyway, so Monsterbots. I think that the Autobot Monsterbots. I think they came in and were described as having almost as much power as the Dinobots. But it's 3 of them, so I'm assuming pound for pound they're more powerful individually. But they just never really had.
Monsterbots more powerful than Grimlock.
We don't know, do we? They never had any spotlight. Oh, I don't know, right?
Apart from the fact is that Grimlock's more powerful, yeah. Apart from that,
apart from that overriding fact of brute force, yeah.
Okay, Grimlock, maybe Grimlock, but
pick another one, Alexis. Try again.
I know.
So mine's the Autobot Monsterbots. There we go.
Come on, Rohan. Underrated.
Right, you guys are going to have to keep me honest here because I don't know the comics as well as everybody else does. But for me, I would pick. There's so many characters, right, in the Transformers universe. There are hundreds of thousands of characters. So from the Generation 1 cartoon series, for me, I would pick people like TFUKcon, who only got one episode, didn't really get showcased. We're finally getting a toy in the main line of him. He's a really cool character, a bounty hunter who's trying to chase down evil doers and teams up with Smokescreen in that one episode, The Gambler, which I really loved. And Smokescreen, actually, another character who didn't get a lot of limelight. He got that one episode.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Yeah. And then one of my favorite characters is Octane, who got a couple of episodes in season 3. And I really like him. I think he
got some great comic stories for he was a sort of dealer and that, but yeah.
There you go. And then a couple which actually have had a lot of limelight, but actually haven't had a lot of backstory or actually haven't had a lot of chance to say a lot. People like Thundercracker, I think he's always been in the background of the Three Seekers out of the 3. I feel like he's the one who's had the least chance to put forward.
He did get spotlight in IDW. He had
In
the whole
IDW,
he's the one that stayed on Earth after the war. Actually started to befriend humanity, actually liked humanity. He actually converted to, he didn't fully convert, but the Autobots enlisted him when there was no one else left.
Yep. So he did the Armada Starscream type thing.
He did that sort of, He when the humans rule against the Autobots and just Transformers generally, they went to him again when I think I'm trying again, Jamie, Ian, keep me honest here, but I think when Megatron came back, they almost asked for Thundercracker's help to say, "Can you help us in this?" Against I can't remember who. No, it wasn't. It was against. It might be against Shockwave, but it was against someone. Yeah. They said, "Can you come and help us? We need support here. We're pretty much good." And you've got nothing. You're bored here. You want to fight. You embrace humanity. Come and help us save it.
And plus, there's the big obvious one that Thundercracker becomes Cyclonus. You know,
and anyone who gets that wrong is just clearly.
There was someone in the chat who mentioned this earlier, saying someone else became Cyclonus. But anyway, I shan't.
Thundercracker became Cyclonus, and obviously Scrap
jumper somewhere.
Scrap. I think it was Scrap Heap or whatever his name was. Kickback or whatever became Scourge as well. So obviously everyone knows that. Transformers lore.
And then I
think
the
still argue about it 40 years later. Sorry,
that's all right. I think some of the minibots also never really got a lot of time to showcase, like Pipes, for example. He got like 2 lines in the show, didn't he? And someone like Outback, who
Outback had an amazing spotlight in when he went up against episode 99 when he came up against the Magnus and the Wreckers. He's the only one that believed Prime was the real Prime, and he sacrificed his life.
I made a mistake, Andy's right. Thundercracker became Scourge, Skywarp, Cyclonus.
At least he chose a Seeker rather than an Insecticon. At least he's chosen a Seeker.
And then people like Trailbreaker and Sunstreaker, I feel like they could have a little bit more limelight, but they get some, don't they?
Sunstreaker gets good ones in Dreamwave and early IDW, but it's a very twisted story, and I don't think people at the time
IDW telling twisted stories.
Well, to be fair to IDW, Dreamwave started it, but they carried it on certainly. But at the time, we weren't really ready for that type of story, and
you're really dark.
You're going down this route, are you? All right.
Yeah, Sunstreaker becomes a headmaster, and it's pretty dark.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Yeah. It's a bit.
I need to go and read all of this stuff, evidently.
IDW is not faux pas stuff. It is really good stuff there. Not all of it, but most of it.
Cool. Yeah, I could go on, but there's so many, as we said, millions of characters that could get a chance. And I think I mentioned this on one of my episodes really early on. I started doing a script, and I tried to pick like really ominous characters who didn't get a lot of limelight. People like Omega Supreme and Warpath, and people in my opinion who should have had more time on Vector Prime, for example. I'd love to see more with him.
I think there should have been more episodes of Cosmos and see what that little freak gets up to.
Yeah. What's he doing out there on his own?
Probe.
There you go.
Go on, Jamie. What's yours then?
Well, to be quite honest, when I think about underrated characters, it's kind of hard because I think a lot of stuff, because you think about underrated characters which we would know maybe in the animation, or if you stuck to the American storylines, was suddenly the spearheads of the UK stories, because obviously, Simon Furman felt he could use them without encroaching on their storyline or main arc of the Transformers franchise. Basically a lot of these characters are like a dozen, if they were to disappear, would they really be missed? And it's kind of weird, because you think about when the Transformers first came and Bob was the one doing a lot of the writing, you had a lot of crap characters like Gears and Windcharger getting a lot of limelight. It's so suddenly when you got killer characters like Wingspan and Pounds, for example, in the Rebirth, you could literally pick all the Rebirth characters.
Yeah.
And well, a good majority of them, and they just never got the limelight they deserved. For example, when I think about the cartoon, I would have loved to have seen more Autobot action, but in the comics, the Autobot's got quite a lot of good stories, and quite involved. So I would think it would. I always I would have picked Smokescreen. I think Smokescreen is Silver Streak.
Yeah.
He would have been, a character who, instead of just being a poor clone of Pearl, it would have been nice to see more of him, and to get him pretty much more involved. And I also like to think. I think about the sort of like I like the idea of the sort of Cybertronian stories, and seeing some stories more of the past, like there's the excellent story which Simon Furman did, which was Secret and Lies. And it was telling you the real story behind.
That's really good.
Yes, and you're seeing a lot of these classic characters, and I'd like to have seen what was happening for 4 million years.
Yeah.
And there's lots of these characters we can see. We can see what was happening with Hot Rod. Hot Rod managed to keep his youth, even though he theoretically should be about the same age as Cup. Or was Hot Rod one of these strange Transformers which basically came about from mitosis, but instead of pissing off to be part of some Cybertronian advert, Cybertronian empire, did a lot of those ones stay behind to be quite good? And that might explain why people like Hot Rod are much younger in comparison to maybe a lot of the more hardened Warbots. Yeah, so I think when you've got underrated characters, I think there's depending if it's a cartoon or the comic, you can almost cherry pick between them. But I think if I was to stick to the cartoon, it's got to be Inferno. I don't think you got really enough in the cartoon. In the comics, of course, you got showcased a hell of a lot.
When was we've ever had?
Yeah,
yeah, it's the best thing.
when was Secret? So Mick's asking when was Secret and Lies released? Can you still get it if you wanted it? How would you get hold of it?
Amazon is selling the whole thing for like £7.
Yeah, I actually got that from a friend for my birthday at Christmas. I think it only came out in that. Was it about a year ago? Maybe just less.
Yeah, I've got individual comics. Yeah, I've got the individual comics, but I've got the hard copy. I got it delivered today.
But I mean, it's a complete collection.
Yeah,
yeah. So sometimes you do the complete volumes a little later, and I read it front to back in like 2 days. I just powered through. I couldn't put it down.
And Jamie, just remind us, who wrote Secret and Lies?
Simon Furman.
Simon Furman, and that's a really good point to end the show on there as well. I think we've all had a go now.
Who's the artist? How's it pronounced? The artist is really good. It's Gildy, is it? How do you
I know what you mean.
Yeah, because he's epic. He does it almost like it's the 1980s comic again.
Yeah, he's been on the live streams of Hasbro, hasn't he? I've seen him before, I think.
Guido Guidi.
Guido Guidi, that's the one.
I mean, look at that picture there.
Oh, that's great. Go towards the end when you got Megatron and squaring up against Grimlock.
No. I want to read it.
I'm not spoiling anything. It's still a good picture. It's still a good picture.
I might actually order them right now.
I want to, yeah. Amazon, or other retailers, Waterstones as well. Someone said as well. So
£9.78 at Amazon.
There we go.
It's worth that. It's brilliant.
So, thank you, Simon Furman, again for a wonderful interview. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you, our special guest tonight, Rohan from Rohan's Corner, Ian from Arrowfire, and Jamie. You'll hear every week, aren't you? So we love you. We love you. Thank you to our wonderful chat, our wonderful subs, everyone. Don't forget.
I just sounds wrong after talking about change.
Don't forget TFUKcon on the 13th of May. Usual service rules are next week. Hopefully, Paul and Andy will be back from their Brokeback Mountain retreat. Oh shit! I gave it away. Full show. Fuck. Anyway,
so you read that message, but you didn't read Jamie's message.
Sometimes you just need to keep warm in a tent.
I've been your host. Jamie's. I've been your host. Jamie's been your voice, and we love you, community. Good night.
On that flying thing. Get the snowblind games. Pick a tune, chick a boon in the world beyond. Got a beat, got a heat on the phony string. Tear your world apart. Once the magic starts. Do you really wanna taste it? What's going on must come down. Do you really wanna taste it? Baby, you're losing ground. You'll soon become the What's going on must come down.